scholarship program. My name is Noah, and I'll be the facilitator for this module. That's data analytics. Data analytics. Today being the first lecture, we'll be doing introduction to data analytics. Introduction to data analytics. And at the end of this lecture today, every participant should be able to discuss the impact of ICT proliferation on data generation. You know, the course is data analytics. And we need to first examine how did we get here? As in, why do we need to study data analytics? Why is data analytics trending? If not that data analytics is trending, you wouldn't have chosen to study this course or module. So we'll discuss the impact of ICT proliferation on data generation. At the end of the course, at the end of the lecture, students should be able to provide an overview of big data and its characteristics. An overview of big data and its characteristics. Also, we should be able to itemize the different categories of data that we have. We have different categories of data. At the end of this course, we should be able to itemize different categories of data that we have. Also, we should be able to differentiate between data science and data analytics. You would have heard about data science, and yet we also have data analytics. What's the relationship between data science and data analytics? We should also be able to discuss the different categories of data analytics. And also we should be able to enumerate different data analytics tools that we have. So this is learning outcomes. These are the learning outcomes for this lecture. I believe you are ready. Now we'll be starting with how has advancement in ICT influenced data generation? Or perhaps I should start by asking, has advancement in ICT influenced data generation? Yes. Yes or no? The answer could be yes or no. Has advancement in ICT influenced data generation? Or we should first start by asking, has ICT advanced? As ICT tools and platforms advanced? If your answer is yes, then the next question will be how? How do you think ICT has advanced? Okay.
Before we were talking about analog to digital computers, but now we have computers that we keep over internet. And move around them.
Yeah.
So that is the advancement in that aspect. But in the aspect of communication, I care more about advancement in terms of communication. Before you send a message from here to America here, you take
This.
now you send it via text message. You can order a delivery platform. You can order for delivery by come and pick your message. And all these developments being brought about by
Advancement in ICT. Yes. So he has been able to prove to us that truly ICT has what? Advanced. And as a result of advancement in ICT, data generation platform has also leveraged on this advancement in ICT and has led to what? Large generation of data. So in the last decade, we have experienced what? Massive advancement in ICT. And one proof is that there is no organization without websites. A real organization without at least websites. Yes or no? Yes. There is no, hardly will you find a youth above 18 that won't have a smartphone or that will not be craving for a smartphone. Not a feature phone, no, a smartphone. And hardly will you have somebody that has a smartphone that won't have a social media account. You can see how they've been influencing each other. Smartphone. If you have a smartphone, you have a social media account. Now, hardly will you have someone that has a social media account that will check the social media account daily, at least once daily. You can see the way advancement in ICT has influenced the massive generation of data. So in the last decade, we have experienced massive advancements in ICT. Not just massive advancements in ICT, massive advancements in what the acceptance and use of ICT tools and platforms. You know, when there is any innovation, especially in the field of ICT, it will always bring about criticism. Okay, now we have electric cars. When they first introduced electric cars, there were issues around electric cars. Hey, electric cars, I can't use electric cars, oh, I will use electric cars. Oh. Now we have, due to the advancement of AI, we also have driverless cars. Cars that you, when you buy it, you just sit behind at the owner's corner. You press the location, and without a driver, the car will drive you to your final destination. Now the big question is, if you have a driverless car, if you have the money to buy a driverless car, number one, will you buy it? Number two, if you buy it, will you sit in it? Will you be able to sleep in it? And so yeah, my driverless car, I'm going from Abuja to Lagos, and inside the car you will sleep. Aha! So it's one thing for ICT tools and platforms to be advancing. It's another thing for us to accept the advancement. And it's another thing for us to use the advancement. Now, we are in an AI-driven world. We have different AI tools around us. And we have many criticisms around these AI tools. Why some groups are criticizing the use of AI tools, some other are embracing its use. You know, those who are criticizing, perhaps in the next 10 years, they will come to accept and use it. But those who have been using it today, they would have advanced in the usage of those ICT tools and platforms. So without any iota of doubt, in the last decade, we have experienced massive advancements in ICT, and not just massive advancements in ICT, we have also experienced massive advancements in acceptance and use of these ICT tools and platforms. And you will agree with me that this massive acceptance and use of ICT tools and platforms has also launched us into a new era, whereby there is huge and massive generation of data. And that category of data is called what? Big data. Big data. Let me stick to the slide. So how has advancement in ICT influenced data generation? These advancements in ICT are in terms of what? Widespread adoption of 4G and 5G networks. And you know, we are still in Nigeria. If we've started using 5G in Nigeria, 5G networks in Nigeria, it should have been in use in developed countries, perhaps in the past, let me say 2 to 3 years. So ICT has advanced in terms of what? Widespread adoption of 4G and 5G networks, the rise of what? AI and machine learning applications. People are now being awakened to what they can do with AI and machine learning applications. Also what? Proliferation of IoT devices. Proliferation in the sense that there are a lot of IoT devices around us, different human wearable devices. Even on our smartphones, there are different words, embedded devices. Also, rapid development of cloud computing technology. So all these things have led to the world's advancement of ICT. Now, let me use data to prove this. This number of internet users worldwide between 2005 and 2002. As of 2005, we have 1 billion users of internet. As of 2005. As of 2010, we have 1.7 users. As of 2015, we have what? 2.7 billions, or not millions, billions users. Now, as of 2022, we have what? 5.3 billion users of the internet as of 2022. And you see, it's increasing. This is what we call the rise. It has never decreased. It is what? Increasing in millions. Now, if we have 5.3 users in 2022, how many users are we going to have in 2024? It's increasing. Let's say 6 point something billions users in 2024. So that means people are now becoming aware of ICT. People are now becoming aware of what the use of ICT platforms. Now, so this advancement in ICT has led to the world's massive increase in data generation platforms. Data generation platform, and the number one data generation platform, I know you will agree with me, is what? Social media platforms. There is no way you have a smartphone and you won't have at least one, you won't be on at least one social media platform. We also have massive IoT devices, e-commerce platforms. There is a rise in the use of what? E-commerce platforms, smartphones and what? Mobile applications and cloud computing services, as well as what? Big data platforms. So all these are all these are platforms that are generating this huge data. And the side effect of this huge data generation platform is that they have launched us into the era of what? Big data. And they have also posed some challenges. Now, take a look at this. This is the statistics of social media users worldwide between 2017 to 2027. And this is what? In billions. Billions. In 2017, we have what? 2.73 billion users on social media platforms. In 2023, we have what? 4.89 billion. Now, we are in 2024. We have what? 5.17 billion users of social media. And it has been projected that, this is like God's blessing. It won't reduce. It will be increasing. In 2027, it has been estimated that we'll have what? 5.85 billion users of social media users. Now, let's take a look at this. This is statistics of what? Average tweets per day in millions. Okay, me, I've been on Twitter for long. I don't used to tweet. I'm a silent user. I'll just be reading tweets. When I want to sleep, I'll read tweets. Now, take a look at this. These are people that what? That tweets per day in millions. In 2012, we have what? 340 millions. In 2022, we have what? 867 millions. Now, at least, as of today, at least 500 million tweets are sent every day. No, you don't need to argue this. It's a fact. I will tell us the source. It's a fact. Statista is the source. 500 million tweets per day. Maybe you are not part of those tweeting. If you are not tweeting, others are what? Tweeting. When you wake up in the morning, instead of them to pray, you say, Alhamdulillah, I'm awake. That's the tweet. Now, instead of us to wake up in the morning and go and pray, you go to Twitter to pray. Thank God, I'm alive. You go to Facebook. Thank God, I'm alive. After then, you can now go and say your prayers. Now, if you are curious, that's about what? 6,000 tweets per second. Maybe you are not holding your phone, you are not tweeting. Some tweeting are tweeting per second. And we have what? 6,000 tweets. 6,000 per second. No, per second. And that's what? Equivalent to what? 350,000 per minute. How many per year? Is that not massive? That's as a result of what? ICT acceptance and use. That's a result of what? Proliferation of ICT and social media platforms. Even in the remote areas, in the villages, once a youth gets a smartphone, they must be on social media platform. And what are they doing? Tweeting, generating data free of charge. And as they are generating the data, they are what? Creating new problems. And one thing about problem is, as people create new problems, there will always be what? New opportunities. If not that we are in the era of big data, there wouldn't have been a need for a data analyst. Imagine. There wouldn't have been a need for a data analyst. So new problems do lead to what? New opportunities. So that's the reason why when people are focusing on the problem, a smart individual will focus on what? The opportunities, not the problem. When people are criticizing these advancements in ICT, a smart, spirit-led individual will focus on what? The opportunities and not the problem. Because in every problem, there are what? Many opportunities. Now, take a look. We are in data analytics, so we'll be dealing with what? Data. Now, take a look at this. Internet users. This is what, as of January 2024, we have 5.35 billion internet users. Now, take a look at social medias. 5.04 billion social media users. So that means, what's the percentage? Let's say 80% of people that have access to internet are on social media. 80% of people that have access to internet, they are what? On social media. So that means, if you are thinking of where the opportunity is as a data analyst, is on those what? Social media platforms. So we should be thinking of how can we analyze those huge volume of tweets, huge volume of data that are being generated on different social media platforms. So you can now see that proliferation of ICT, advancement of ICT is also increasing the rate at which data is being generated. Now, another data generation platform is what? IoT devices. IoT devices. Now take a look at this. As at 2010, non-IoT devices, we have, let's say, 8 billion IoT devices. Now, as at 2010, we have, let's say we have, this is in billion. So let's say we have 1 billion IoT devices. Now, as a data analyst, study this trend. The non-IoT devices are the bars in blue. The IoT devices are the bars in sky blue. Now study the trend. What do you observe? The IoT devices as what? Overtaking the non-IoT devices. And you know, those IoT devices per second, they are what? Generating data. IoT devices are what? Smart devices that can connect to the internet, that can generate data, process data, and transmit data over the internet. So you can now see in 2024, we have how many? Let's say we have 25 billion IoT devices. And it has been projected that in 2025 we have what? 30 billion IoT devices. 30 billion. Billion. You know, let's break it down. Billion is what? 1,000 million. You know, when they are stealing money, you say they steal billion. You do as if you don't. A billion is what? 1,000 million. So if somebody stole 1 billion, that is 1,000 million. And if somebody stole 80, that's what? 80, 1,000, 80,000 million. Now add any currency to it. It is too much. Now, let's go to general website statistics to prove our point. You know, we are data analysts, so we'll be using data. We must fall in love with data. As in, you must not be scared when you see huge data. You know, if there is no massive generation of data, we won't be needed. So the data we will be dealing with are huge data. Data that will span, let's say, 100,000 rows in Excel sheets. You can't manually process those data. You need some data analytics tools to process those data. And that's the reason why we are here. Now, another data generation platform is websites. And according to Forbes, there are what? 1.09 billion websites on the internet as at January 2024. 1.09 billion websites. I have one personal. I know many people did not have personal websites. So even if you don't have personal websites, we still have 1.09 billion, not million, no, 1.09 thousand websites on the internet as at 2024. And every day sees what? The creation of what? 252,000 new sites every day. Every day. Me, I have not created anyone in the last 1 month. Yet, every day, 252,000 new websites are being created. Now, among these, 192 million sites are what? Active. So we have some that are not active, but at least 192 million are active. Now, a new website is built every 3 seconds. According to Forbes, a news website is built every 3 seconds. So the question is, how many have you built today?
So how many
this week?
How many people does it cost to does it take to build the website?
That is now as a result of advancement in ICT, there are different platforms. Gone are the days when you want to build ICT, you start writing code. But nowadays, you can build websites in 1 hour.
It's very concerning because the 202,000, they're putting down the album and 2 billion
From here, we have 1 billion websites. So we are now saying at least out of the 1 billion websites, 192 million are active. We are not referring to the new sites that are being generated on a daily basis. So we have many platforms. As in many platforms, Google even have one that you can use to create platforms. They will even host it for you, free of charge. Now, 71% of businesses have a website in 2023. And I believe everybody should agree with this. I will say, okay, you are the MD CEO. Where is your website? There is no real MD CEO that won't have at least a website. So 71% of businesses have a website in 2023. 29% of businesses is conducted online. Now, Google is the most visited website with what? 85 billion visitors. 85. So, why won't they be rich? 85 billion. I didn't quote that, but I provided the link. But let's say this is annually. Google is what? The most. Now, which platform is the second? And I believe you will agree. Because now, if you provide free internet connectivity here, what's the next platform you go and check? YouTube. To do what? Download movie. to download movie. So YouTube is also the most visited site with over what? 33 billion visitors at least every day. Let me confess, every day I check YouTube. Every day. Once I log in, the next thing, YouTube, you play music and you continue working. And in North America, 45% of web traffic comes from what? Mobile devices. So this is to prove that advancement in ICT has led to what? Has led to the development of different data generation platforms. And those huge data generation platforms has led to what? Huge data that is being generated on a daily basis. So with this, I want to welcome everyone to the world of what? Big data. We are now in the world of what? Big data. There are a lot of data around us. And we can even prove that in Nigeria. In Nigeria, we like data. You go to bank, you collect fingerprints. You go to this, they collect fingerprints. You go to another, this, as in huge. So we are now in the era of what? Big data. We are in the era of massive generation of data. And as a result of that, traditional methods of analyzing data are failing. Traditional methods of storing this data are failing. Traditional methods of analyzing this data are failing. Also, the expertise needed to analyze this huge data is scarce. And that's the reason why you and I are here to acquire the skills we need to analyze this big data. I just want us to have the understanding that the data we want to deal with are not what? Small data. They are what? Huge data. Huge data that can span hundreds of thousands of Excel rows. And I thought the laptop I have is a very good one. It's called i7 SSD, the 64 gig RAM. But there was a day I was working with one data, a very large data, and the system began to misbehave. That was how I know that. So with this huge data, it has also posed another challenge of the need for sophisticated platforms or systems to analyze them. So now, what are the characteristics of this big data we've been talking about? Volume is the first one. And this talks about what? The huge amount of data that is being generated by these data generation platforms. Now, huge amount of data. Imagine, internet generates what? 2.5 quintillion bytes of data daily. And quintillion is what? 1,000 billion. IoT devices generates what? No, quintillion is, please check quintillion. Is it 1,000 billion? Quintillion should be 1,000 billion. I want you to confirm. Quintillion. Check, confirm. Come again. If I'm the one that says it, you may say, a billion. Quintillion is what? A billion. And we are talking about what? Bytes. There is no flash drive that can hold it. Abi, you've seen a billion bytes, Abi. The highest flash drive you've seen is how many? How many gig? We are not talking about quintillion bytes of data. And IoT devices generate 500 zettabytes. And if quintillion is a billion billion, zettabyte is 1,000 billion. So we are talking about huge volume of data. Another characteristic is what? Velocity. Velocity is talking about the speed. It's at a faster rate. Let's use hospital setting as a case study. There are different wearable IoT devices that are being used to measure, let's say, the heartbeat of a patient or the glucose level. What do they use to measure? Blood pressure, blah, 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 sugar level, blah, blah, blah. And those vital signs must be measured per second. So that if there is an increase, if there is an increase above a particular level, the doctor should be alerted. So all those IoT devices are generating data at a faster rate. So we need platforms to contain them, to manage them, and to process them. Now, variety is another characteristic, and this refers to what? Different types. The data could be in text formats, it could be in audio formats, it could be in image formats. So how are we going to analyze all these data that are in different formats or variety? That's another characteristics of the data we are looking at. And also veracity. And veracity talks about what? The accuracy and reliability. How accurate are these huge data that is being generated? And how reliable? How are you so sure that this huge data is accurate, has not been tampered with, and it is reliable to make informed decisions? This is where they need data analysts. Will be the ones to answer those questions. When you come across those huge data, it is your responsibility to ensure that they are accurate. It is your responsibility to ensure that they are reliable. They are reliable. They are reliable. You know, we've seen different instances whereby they will say, this person is dead. And they will take the person to the mortuary and they will say that the person is breathing. Reliable. Data that is reliable. Someone that has been taken to the mortuary shouldn't breathe again. So that means the decision to confirm the person dead was faulty. Eh? And at the end of the day, the person may eventually die. Because it's like when those people die, that's when they will trend more. Value is another characteristic. And value is talking about what? How useful and how relevant. Now you can see veracity is talking about accuracy and reliability. And value is talking about usefulness and relevance. The data can be huge and it won't be useful. A data can be huge and it won't be relevant. But at the end of the day, they will push it all to us. Whether it is relevant, whether it is useful, whether it is accurate, whether it is reliable, they will push it to a data analyst. It is now our responsibility to ensure to come up with a version that is useful and relevant for a particular organization. So those are the various characteristics of big data. Now, what are the challenges? Data management. How are we going to manage this data? How are we going to analyze this data? How are we going to interpret this data? Data privacy and security. How are we going to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of this huge data? Confidentiality. No matter how huge the data is, how are we going to ensure that it is only those who are authorized to have access to it that will have access to it? And you know, if you have a data, let's say for processing salary, let's use Dangote as a case study. Perhaps Dangote has 100,000 workers in Nigeria. How are we going to ensure that someone has not tampered with the salary of the worker that is in row 100,000? How are you going to know? Privacy. And what? Security. Integrity. How are we going to ensure that the data has not been tampered with? This is as in, when as in data can be tampered with. Yes, now you can add 1 0 to 100,000 to become 1 million. Add another zero, another person will come. They'll be adding zero, then it will increase. Data can be tampered with. So how are we going to ensure the integrity that this data, as it's moving from point A to point B to point C, it has not been tampered with? And also availability. How are we going to ensure that at any point in time that an organization needs access to their data or an individual needs access to their data, they will be able to get access to their data? For instance, every Nigerian wants to go to an ATM machine, insert your ATM card, and you make withdrawal. No matter how huge it is, make withdrawal. Availability, it's my money. It is not useful if I can't withdraw. You don't go to the market and say, I have 1 million naira in my account. I beg. Shebi, what you want to buy is 100,000. Give me the money. I have money, I can't withdraw. Give me the money. You can't use English to buy anything in a mall and to tender your ATM. And it's always painful when you get to a mall, you are at the point, at the checking point, at the counter, you slot in your ATM, and there is no internet. And then, Nigerians like to pray. You start praying, and you start begging devil for the internet to be restored. So data privacy and security is another concern. Data integration. How are we going to bring all those data from different sources together? The data can be stored in different databases. How are you going to bring them together? They can be in different formats. How are you going to integrate them together? Scalability. An organization already has a platform they are using to process their data. But as their customer is increasing, it will also pose another problem. So how are you going to ensure that the data processing platform they have can handle the growth in data? Scalability. How are you going to ensure that the data processing platform an organization is using can handle the growth in data? Initially, during the early era of data analysis, you can use Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel was developed by Microsoft. It got to a point that Microsoft came to the reality that no, as a result of scalability, it will get to a point that we have data that will cause Microsoft Excel to crash. I've experienced it. That you open the data, when we start generating pivot table, you see, that's when you know that the system you have is not good for data analysis. As you are generating, it will just be crashing. Then you know that you need to go for a new laptop. So scalability is also a concern. Data processing speed. No matter how huge the data is, organization needs their information at a faster rate. They need someone that can process that huge data. I will give them accurate information in minutes, in hours. It should not exceed a day. They don't need someone that will say, okay, for me to process this data, it will take me 10 days. If they can find someone that will do it in a day, they will appreciate it. Data processing speed. Data governance. How are we going to come up with laws to guide the way this data is being generated? You agree with me that in Nigeria, data governance is an issue. And that's the reason why, as a politician, we always say, we need to censor social media. We need to censor social media. Because on Twitter, Twitter is not just a platform for interaction. If you want to abuse any politician, go to Twitter, abuse. They can't come and see me. Abi, you abuse and you run away. So data governance is an issue. Yes, so as in we have a social media, they will call it cyberbullying. And they should not even accuse you for cyberbullying. As in, you can't, I don't know the lawyer that will bail you if they accuse you for cyberbullying. But data governance is also a problem because there is freedom of expression. Freedom of expression. And that can scatter people's wedding. Yes, now I've seen recently they said, okay, a celebrity, the child of one celebrity resembled a pastor. Do you want to scatter their family? And you want to scatter their data governance is an issue. Data governance is an issue. And that's why, okay, it's like I heard the government said, okay, they will mandate paternity test at the point of birth. So that they started from social media. And you also agree that NSAS protest too, they started from where? So, it started from what? Social media. No, it is still continuing on social media. Even though the election is over, the obedience are still active on social media. So data governance is also what? A problem. But it's not a problem for us to solve. It's for governments to solve. And also what? Skills gap. This is where you and I come in. Skills gap is another major problem. Skills gap. Governments are looking for individuals that can analyze tweets and take scapegoats and say, okay, based on these comments, this person abused you, then you get the person and you get the address, then you deal with the person. Skills gap. And this is where you and I come in. So these are the challenges posed by big data. Now, what are the categories of data we'll be coming across? As a data analyst, we always deal with different categories of data. What are the categories of data we'll be coming across? Number one is what? Unstructured data. Unstructured data are what? Raw data. As they are generating data, they are pushing it to you for processing. Unstructured. No predefined format or structure. Those are what? Unstructured data. Data that does not have a predefined format. It can be in any form. Those are what? Unstructured data. And examples of those unstructured data include emails, social media posts, audio recording, text documents. You agree with me that social media posts are unstructured. You can make your own post in Pidgin English or Nigerian English or in your local dialects. You can add any icons to it. No structure, no format. Those are data we'll be coming across. Another category is what? Semi-structured. Semi-structured data are better than unstructured. They are better in the sense that they have been partially organized. They have been partially processed, but they are not in a well-defined format yet. They have been partially processed, but they have not been fully processed. And we should always know that if our data is faulty, our output will be faulty. So we are not interested in using a semi-structured data for our final data analytic tasks. We are interested in what? Using a structured data. And what's a structured data? A well-organized, a well-cleaned, and formatted data. That's a structured data. A data without duplicate values. Have we not seen it, or have we not read or heard about it, that some people in a particular month, they will receive double salary? As in, how come? How come? Perhaps somebody has duplicated a row, and someone will receive double salary. It's possible. It's just the number of rows. If the person processing the salary will just check how many number of rows, 500,000. She might have forgotten that someone has removed one name and they've duplicated one. So we'll be dealing with what? Structured data. Those are well-organized and formatted data. And well-organized and formatted data include data in relational databases, data stored in spreadsheets, and data stored in CSV files. Now, there is a category of structured data we need to be aware of, and that's what historical data. Historical data refers to information or records of past events. Organizations keep records of past events about their activities. Those are called historical data. So an example of structured data we'll be using is historical data. Why are historical data useful? They can be used to make predictions. They can be used to make analysis. History is very important. History is very important. If history is not important, let's ask our grandma. You know, if your grandma comes and pay a visit, and they see the way your boy is doing, they can say, you see this boy? He is taking after his great-grandfather. And they will begin to tell you what that great-grandfather did. So if it is right or wrong, you know how to. So historical data is very, very important, even to organizations. Let's use weather data as a case study. A particular weather data for a particular year will be synonymous to a weather data for a previous year. So historical data is very important. They represent a snapshot of the past at a specific point in time, and is used to understand what trends and patterns and behaviors over time. When you study and analyze historical data, you can know which products do attract certain customers, and which portion of the year, which time of the year will a particular product will always attract customers. So now, this figure illustrates what we call Cambrian explosion of data. Now take a look at this. It establishes the rise in structured and unstructured data. Take a look at this. After 2006, 2007, nobody is saying anything about structured or unstructured data. After 2008, as we started talking about unstructured data, 2010, take a look, and at 2015, started talking about unstructured data. And these are in what? Billions of gig. So now, after 2015, we have 10,000 billions of unstructured data. The unstructured data is the data in orange. See. Now, as of 2016, we see let's say we have like 12,000 billions of unstructured data. As of 2017, we still have what? As of 2017, let's say we have 17 or 15,000 billions of unstructured data. Take a look at 2018. We have what? Let's say 21 billions of unstructured data. 2019, we have what? Let's say 31 billions of unstructured data. Now take a look at 2020. We have what? 52,000 billions of unstructured data. Now let's take a look at the structured world that we have. So what can you deduce from that? What can you deduce from that?
The unstructured is still more.
Yes, there is an increase in what? Generation of unstructured data. And there is a what? A decrease in what? Structured data. That is a problem. But it has provided opportunities for you and I.
So it's a decrease. Because
It's also increasing, and the volume of structured data is also increasing. But the rate at which is increasing when it's compared to structured, it's not significant. And this, as it's posing a problem, it has created opportunities for you and I. So that's the reason why, as in, getting the job is not the problem. Acquiring the skills is the problem, because there is a market for it.
So it can also show that over time, that the structured data might likely to take
No, that will be very, very low. It's possible. Okay. At what year? Okay. Now let's use this trend to predict. No, we are data analysts. Let's use this trend to predict. Let's say that will be 20. That should be 20. Never. It's going to be 2015. At this rate, it will be. Let's say 2000. Let's say 2,500. 2,500.
look at the history of event or advent of technology, technological advancement. Within 10 years, we recognize
Now let's
huge advancement.
let's take a look at this.
No, sir.
So if this increase in 2022, that's just this.
Yes.
2024. Now, the good news that I want to deduce from this is that there is a need for data analysis to convert unstructured data to structured format. That is the good news for you and I. And that's the reason why you should know that as in the skills you have embarked on, or the skills you are about to acquire is needed out there. That's what I want to prove today. The skills we have, as in this slide is not complete, in the sense that I should have come with a statistics of data analysts that are needed. Just, you can do that research on your own. Data analyst job in UI. You know, our job is let's have a broad vision. It will not be for here. Just the statistics of data analysts that are needed in US or UK. You'll be data analyst job. Or you do a statistics of top IT jobs. As you do analysis of top IT jobs, you will be shocked. Data analyst will be at the top. Data analyst will be at the top. And this is the word, this is the proof. So the IT skills we have come to acquire is actually a much needed one. And sincerely, it is easy to master. That's a fact. It is what? Easy to master. If it's not easy to master, I won't lie. Why is it easy to master? They already made tools for the data analysis. The only thing you need to master is how to use those tools. That's all. It's not as if you write code from, it's all software development. If any student approach me and say, sir, I'm about to graduate, I want to acquire a skill, I say, start with data analysis. Because as in, the usage of software are easy to master than learning codes. And the fact is, we are now in an AI-driven world. And with the knowledge of AI, you don't need to do all the thinking on your own. Be smart, oh. Are you part of those who are criticizing the use of AI applications? You should know that in every, I said it earlier that in every adventions, in every innovations, we always have two groups of people. Group A will be criticizing. And sincerely, those who will criticize will be more than those who will be embracing the technology. Don't be among those who are criticizing. Be among those who want embrace. Okay, when I was preparing the lecture notes, I got to Excel formulas and functions. I did research top Excel formulas and functions for data analysis. I saw one. Okay, I gathered them. I saw one. I said, this one, it's not needed. Substitutes. What will I use this for? So I was now playing with one data. In the column for money, I just saw dirty data. I saw, let's say, 20 million. And I saw 20, 00, 00, and I was like, why will you be putting comma after every two digits? So as a data analyst, it became a problem. How will I was just figuring out, let me use count, let me use replace, let me use find. As a smart person that I am, I just turned to AI. You know, AI is like those You just say, yeah, show me. Oh. I just like, okay, oh. I first described my data. I first described my data. Please, I have this data in this particular cell. How can I remove this? Within in less than a second, I just see do this, do this. Ah, I just copy the formula, I put it, I run it, and then hey. Then I went back to my slide. You know that formula, I didn't include it before because I was like, it's not useful. I just went back and I now added it. This formula is useful. So we are now in what? An AI driven world. So it's much more easier to do. And in this training, we'll teach you the hard way to do it. We'll start with the hard way. Then we'll come with you. We'll now introduce the easy way so that you will appreciate the hard way. Which one is not hard? Okay. Not hard as in hard. Yeah. So there is future in what we are doing. That's what I want to. That's the good news I want to preach. As in there is future in it. It's a kind of job we can be here or be earning hard currency. And it will help our economy. You know, when dollar is coming in, it will help Nigerian economy too. knowledge and insights from different types of data, be it structured, be it unstructured, be it semi-structured. That is data science. How will you come up with your own tool, with your own data analytics tools, with your own business intelligence tools? How will you come up with your own algorithm? That's what data science focuses on. Now, data analytics. This is what the study of how to use already developed. Which one is easier? How to use already developed algorithms, techniques, and tools that are needed to what? Extract knowledge and insight from structured data. Now, which one is easier? Data analytics is just to study how to use the tools. But if you now say, okay, I want to develop my own tool, data science. So you can now see that one is much more easier and complicated. Because at the end of the day, what we use to extract, what we want to extract information from is the structured data. As in, it will be, in our goal is to convert into the structured format. But the actual data that will be used for data analysis is the structured data. You can't use unstructured data for your data analysis task because it's uncleaned, it's not well formatted, and it could be in any structure. But data analytics, it focuses on what, as in, a major goal is to convert unstructured data into the structured form, and you extract meaningful information and insights from the structured data. You don't extract meaningful information or insights from unstructured data. It's on what. So you cannot see the difference between data science and data analytics. So now, in this course, I emphasize as the easy way out, not data science. So now, process of what? Examining, cleaning, transforming, modeling data, insights, deep insights, patterns, and decision making and drive business outcomes. Organizations want to make data, and organizations that doesn't value data, they will soon collapse. Yes. Although governments that don't value data, it is. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But organizations so collapse. Because from history, you would have studied different insights, different patterns, different trends. If you triple the price of petrol, what will happen? Before the government will now go and quadruple the price of control, and things will now escalate, and they begin to say, we did not know it would be you should have decision. So organizations are interested in what good organizations take data-driven decisions. Good government should take what? Data-driven. Before you announce that subsidy is gone, as in first analyze. First analyze what will be the effect, so that we won't be at the receiving end. So it involves applying statistical and computational techniques. That is, it may involve some little statistics, little formulas. It may involve the use of some algorithms, as in some computational techniques, to make predictions on what large data sets, so as to extract valuable information and make data-driven decisions. Since our emphasis is on data analytics, we still need to know different categories of data analytics. We need to know what you are into. I'm not a politician, no. We are not talking about politics, because you see, the person sitting behind you is maybe you are from PDP, Abi. You are APC, Abi. Me, I'm obedient. So don't let us start politics before we start protesting. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. Now, categories of data analytics. We have descriptive analytics. We've talked about historical data. We are now talking about descriptive analytics. And descriptive analytics is the simplest types of analytics, in the sense that you only want to describe, you only want to explain the features of your data. You are not doing anything about it. You are not doing any processing. You just want to explain or describe. It's just like, okay, a house has been built, somebody wants to rent the house, and you took the person inside, okay, it has 2 rooms, it has 2 bedrooms, it has 2 living rooms. Descriptive. That is what descriptive analysis. We now have diagnostic analytics. You have headache. Okay, nothing. Somebody has headache, and he approached the hospital. He met a medical doctor. The medical doctor will now examine. Why did you have headache? You should not have headache now. Diagnostic. They want to answer the question, why? Why do you have headache? Why is this product not moving in this particular point, in this particular time of the year? Diagnostic. You want to answer the question, why? Why something is not happening the way we expect it to happen. We also have predictive. If I want to make billions of naira in a year, what should I do? So we also have predictive analysis, and we also have prescriptive analytics. So descriptive analysis focuses on what? Summarizing historical data to understand what has happened in the past. So it involves using techniques like data aggregation, data visualization, exploratory data analysis to provide insight into patterns and trends within the data. We also have, an example of descriptive analysis involves analyzing customer transaction data to gain insights into purchasing behaviors and trends. Now, a scenario, a retail company wants to understand our customers' purchasing patterns and preferences to optimize inventory management and marketing strategy. That's an example of descriptive analytics. Now, diagnostic. This aims to determine why certain events occur. Diagnostic. The event has happened. We now want to know why it happened, so as to know if we'll pray against it, or we should pray that such should happen again in the future. Diagnostic. Relationship between variables, conducting hypothesis tests to understand the factors influencing specific phenomena. An example of diagnosis involves analyzing there was a decrease in revenue during a specific time period. A scenario, a retail company experienced a significant drop in sales revenue during the holiday season compared to the previous year. The management team wants to understand the root cause behind this decline to inform future strategies and decision making. This is what diagnostic analytics. It involves using historical data to make predictions about future events. That is, from historical data, we can make predictions about future events. If you stock this particular product, you can. If you want to stock, if you want to do business, animal business, when is the best time to buy ram? If you now purchase your own ram after Salah, what will happen? You really want to eat it alone. When is the best time to buy chicken? To stock chicken? Okay, it can be anytime. Or if it's closer to Christmas or Easter, involves using historical data to make predictions about. Don't joke with their historical data because it can be used to make predictions. Patterns, hidden trends. And now, these hidden patterns and trends are not easier to had it been as a human being, everything is perfect, bothering you. You cannot see how powerful your brain is. But let's use myself as a case study. I want to come to work. When I got to a particular filling station, I saw queues. Immediately I saw queues, I checked my gauge. I still checked the gauge. I said, okay, the queue is increasing. So I think we are in a path. Have many things distracting you. You can concentrate and do some analysis. But because of all these issues, all these things we are processing, it's difficult to human. So that's why we have different tools that can uncover hidden insights from our massive. So predictive analysis using statistical modeling, machine learning algorithms, and build predictive models that can forecast future outcomes. And everybody wants to, organizations are interested in forecasting future outcomes so as to know where to invest with a certain level of accuracy. So an example is using historical sales data to forecast future sales revenue. Now we also have prescriptive. Now prescriptive analytics does not only predict future outcomes, it will still tell you what you need to do. And I think this prescriptive analytics is the most important category of analytics. Don't just tell us the problem. Tell us the solution. To do. Okay, dollar is increasing. Against dollar is increasing. What can we do? That will be permanent. Dollar is reduced to $1,000 to maybe $1,000 to $1. Maybe $1,000 to $1. I will be happy. And after 2 weeks, we just want to 1 again. So predictive analysis does not only predict future outcomes, but it also what recommends action that can optimize decision making and achieve desired objectives. So as a complete data analyst must be vibrant in all these categories of data analytics. And this is why we have different modules. We'll be exposed to different tools. That can be used to achieve all these categories of data analytics. And I'm much more interested in the AI component. That I can use to uncover different insights. On your own, there are some AI platforms that you can just get your data, upload your data, click process. It will interpret. You just put your hand, you can be taking your wine, not beer, wine or bottle of water, and then it will be analyzing the data for you. Then you get to the meeting the next day. They just stand up, you wear a good suit, then you begin to analyze, and you be like, Mr. Obina, how come? Within how many days? That's the power of what AI tools. We will also be introduced to those AI platforms that can be used to gain insights from our data. So these are the categories of data analytics that we have. We also have different data analytics tools. Microsoft Excel is a good data analytics tool. Even though it has been existing for long, it is still powerful and relevant for data analysis. So we'll start our training with how we can use Microsoft Excel for data analysis and how we can integrate Excel for data analysis. We also be introduced to what for data analysis. That's the reason why Microsoft started to develop Power BI for data and Power BI for data analysis. We also use Tableau for data. I always say that business in. That's why I always say that our curriculum is the best anywhere. You can't find any data analytics training and they will teach you SQL all together in one training. Cogno analytics. It also can be used for data analytics and analyze data using SQL queries. And we also have SAP business. In this training, our emphasis will be on how to use Microsoft Excel, Power BI, Tableau, and please give me a minute. The outline of the course on the Telegram group. I thought it's on this slide. Okay. Hold on. It's like it will be uploaded. Yes. These are the things you want to achieve. These are the things you want to study under this Excel component of the training. And I'm able to break them down into different weeks. In week 1, I wish we can achieve all this. In week 1. And this is the week 1. And that's how you know that as a lecture per week, it can. So, we'll create more lecture time. It can work. That's what I'm saying. To be sincere. In a month, we can't finish everything. If lectures will only be on weekends. So there could be calls for lectures during the week. It will be online. We'll talk about it after that. Because in week 1, I wish, we still do a little introduction to Excel just to refresh our brain. You already know how to import data from different sources into our Excel, and that's where the data analytics jobs starts from. How to clean our data. There are two ways of doing that. We can take our data from Excel has Excel Power Query feature that can be used to also clean data, remove duplicate values. Once we remove empty rows, our data, we want to check our spellings. Those are the things we do on that data cleaning. We also start using conditional formatting. And two, we start Excel formulas and functions. We need using the coming up with the formulas. I was thinking to create to do the magic, and so that we won't understand. Chart creation, pivot table generation. Now, before we will now study how we analysis and dash body. Achieve this, we'll be the one to fix realistic. If you want to analysis, these are the things it lies on. A month for each module. Using Excel for this next month, how to use another module. Upper month, how to use SQL, another module. Question? Okay.
Talk about the structure that
Yes.
let's see now. What is the method of relation? Previous relation. Like, so now, when I get into the use it. So for me to just get also the history of like the way so now, is it gonna
That's what I'm saying. Structured data. Our first task is now, unstructured data. I've not raw data. They've not been cleaned. They could have missing values. They could have empty rows, and all those things do affect the results. If our organization give us structured data, that is good. But they still give us raw data, that is the unstructured data, into the structured format. Because garbage in, garbage out. You will get a result, but accurate. That is the problem. I know organizations want to use. It is better you work on accurate data. Mm-hmm.
so another thing is the category capabilities and also I'm also supposed to that's who gave and those who use the heritage of user because using Excel so I don't using that. Just goes that if you want to is handle part and assumption that was a company interval. Is it necessary or use able?
This is another thing we must know. Different tools for different tasks. Use Excel for predictions. That's this one. You still see another mode for data analytics. We still say using another module will be on how to use Python. Making these predictions. Sorry. When it comes to making predictions, algorithms. If you see the definition I said, it's involved using statistical and computational algorithms for those predictions. Different tasks. So as a data analytics, when you have a task, whether it is descriptive or whether it is diagnostic, whether it is predictive or prescriptive, you will now know what is the best data analytics tools to use. Interval, as in which? The last part of the question. Okay.
Actually want to know, I'm preferring ICT, data analytics. Which one drives which?
Okay. Establish that in the study. It's because of increase in advancement of ICT that we have generating huge volume of data. And that's the reason why we are here. I didn't mean there is no advancement in ICT. I didn't mean there is no smartphone. It will be difficult to use social media. And if you are not on Twitter, you won't be making posts. I'll be giving us problem. So you can see the relationship. So it is ICT that is driving the advancement in ICT. The example I gave, I was analyzing a huge data. My system began to malfunction. The next we'll see eighth generation computer system that can. So ICT is the one driving all those innovation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your. I'm sure that each and every one of us enjoyed this class. It's really interesting. Uh, it's kind of interest. My request is that can we have this particular slide so that we understand what we can.
In fact, if you need it now, I can give you. Ask it for it. Yeah. Yeah. Any question from the online? No. Everybody for the class, you can post your questions. Thank you. So we can continue our interaction. People were